Hey, welcome everyone, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are gonna focus CSS Flexbox. Previously, we learned about all the stuff that allowed us to change the color, change the styling, but now we are gonna focus on positioning elements and Flexbox alongside with Gridbox, which we will cover in another video is a great way to position all of our divs, all of our elements on our website. So let's get to it. Use display flex to position two boxes. Okay, so first we need to define which div is gonna be displayed as a flex. Add property display to box container and set its value to flex. Display flex, flex. Yep, and there we have it. Don't mind 100% done because I made all these tasks before and I'm just doing it for fun, to be honest. Add flex superpowers to the tweet empt. Add the CSS property display flex to all of the following items. Note that the selectors are already set up in CSS. Header, the header's profile name, the header's follow, the header's HG for footer, and the footer stats. Okay, let's take a look. Um, so, okay, so all we need to do is to add display flags to the header, and as we can see, all of our items line up as if they were linear. Um, let's remember that these are divs, these are blocks, and with the flex they behave like linear elements. Okay, so um, next thing we need to do, h3, h4, profile name, h3, h4, right here, display flex, semicolon, okay, profile name 2, where else? Follow button, and footer, cool, footer stats, and that's all. Let's run, done. Use flex direction property to make a row. Okay. We use flex direction to align any children of the element into rows or columns. Okay. We can also use row reverse, column reverse. Note the default value for the flex direction is row. Okay, add the property flex direction, flex direction to the box container. Flex direction and give it a value of row reverse. And our box is reversed. Cool. Not now, thank you. Apply the flex direction property to create rows in the tweet empt. The header and footer in the tweet-empt example have child items that could be arranged as rows using flex direction property. This tells CSS to align the children horizontally. Add the CSS properly flex direction to both header and footer and set the value to row. So let's start with the header and like that, I guess. And the footer, let's see, done. Now let's make a column. The same thing, but we are making column instead of row. So column, and that's the result. Apply flex direction to create a column in a tweet-empt. Okay, add CSS properly flex direction to the header's profile name element and set the value to column. So profile name, it's here. Column. Align elements using the justify content property. Okay, we've got different options for justify content. Center at the start, at the end, to make space between, space around. But what does it do actually? First and the last items are not locked to the edges of the container. The space is distributed around all the items with half space on either end of the flex container. Okay, and evenly, which distributes space evenly. Okay. An example help showed this property in action. Add the CSS property justify content to the box container element and give it a value of center. Box container, justify content, and it all will be in the center, like that. Okay, if we, for example, wanted to change it to, let's say, for example, space around, we got a space around, even on the both sides. But let's just stick to the center now. And now use the justify content property in a tweet-empt. Okay, add CSS property justify content to the header's profile name element and set the value to any of the options from the last challenge. Okay, so for example, let's justify content and let's type, let's say, flex end. Let's take a look. Cool. That was a probably bad example because we had no visual effect on the screen, but it definitely worked. Align elements using, okay. So now we are going to align on items. What's the difference here? Stretch baseline. Stretch the items to fill the flex container. For example, rows items are stretched to fill the flex container top to bottom. And baseline, align items to the baseline. Baseline is a text concept Think of it as the line that letters sit on. Okay, an example helps show this property in action. Add CSS property align items to box container and give it a value of center. And as you can see, they are aligned in the center with the proper font. If we change the font here, our div will get bigger, obviously. Um, what was the previous value? 18. Okay, let's run, and it's done. Add CSS property align items to the headers follow button element. Set the value to center. Okay. Center. Let's run. It's done. Use flexwrap to wrap a row or column. Okay. By default, a flex container will fit all flex items together. For example, a row will all be on one line. However, using flexwrap property tells CSS to wrap items. This means extra items move into a new row or column. The breakpoint of where the wrapping happens depends on the size of the items and the size of the container. Okay, so we're gonna see some colors jumping around. The current layout has too many boxes for one row. Add the CSS property flex wrap to the box container element and give it a value of wrap. And as you can see, 6 colors don't fit, so 2 jump out to the second row. Now we're gonna use flex shrink. When it's used, it allows an item to shrink if the flex container is too small. Items shrink when the width of the parent container is smaller than the combined widths of all the flex elements within it. Okay, so it takes numbers as values. Add CSS property flex shrink to the box 1 and 2. Keep one value of 1 and both the box 2 value of 2. Oops. 1 and 2. Okay. Use flexgrow to expand items. So this is the opposite of flex shrink. Let's use it on box 1 and give it a value of 1. And let's use it on box 2 and give it a value of 2. And it changes the direction. Now the red or orange or red color box is bigger. Use the flexbases property to set the initial size of an item. The units used by the flexbases are the same as other size properties: pixels, em, percentages, the value out of sizes items based on the content. Set the initial size of the boxes using flexbases. Okay, add the CSS property flexbases on box 1, box 2, give box 1 the value of 10 rem, 10 em, I mean, and box 2 value of 20 em. Let's run. Use the flex shortcut property. Okay, we can use some shortcut. For example, flex 1, 0, 10 pixels, which is equal to grow 1, shrink 0, and base is 10 pixels. The default property settings are flex 0, 1, auto. Set the CSS property flex to both box 1 and box 2, give box 1 values, so its flexgrow is 2. Okay, box 1 flexbox growth is 2, shrink is 2, and flexbases is 150 pixels. Give box 2 the values, so its flexgrow is 1, 1, 1, and 150. Alright. Use the order property to rearrange items. The order property is used to tell CSS the order of how flex items appear in the flex container. By default, items will appear in the same order they come in the source HTML. The property takes numbers as values, and negative numbers can be used. Add CSS property order to both box 1 and box 2. Give box 1 the value of 2 and the box 2 the value of 1. 1. Like that. So basically this one has a higher order, so it's displayed first. Use the align self property. The final property for flex items is align self. It allows you to adjust each item's alignment individually instead of setting them all at once. This is useful since other common adjustment techniques using the CSS properties, float, clear, and vertical align do not work on flex items. Align self accepts the same values as align items and will override any value set by the align items property. Okay, add the CSS property align self to both box 1 and box 2 and give box 1 a value of center and box 2 flex end. Self, not self, but flex end. And that's it. Cool, we made it. I hope you guys thought it was at least a little bit useful. Looking forward for some feedback if you wish to, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, and thanks for watching.